Shalom and good day all, this is the Healing29 back again for another DC review, and in this DC review I'll be covering Wonder Woman issue 13, and one of the things I must admit is that I decided to pick this up because of this particular variant cover, and I think this is probably one of the times where you don't pick up sort of like both the main cover and the regular cover. That some of these cardboard covers over the main cover can have a slight, and I mean a slight, advantage of going out as they are. In this case, of course, in some cases it does feel a little bit sloppy and lazy. But seeing I had no interest of getting the main cover, it does sort of come with this particular issue anyway. As I said, as it comes with this particular issue, I still see it as quite lazy, as they should have kept the cover as the main variant cover. But at least then I sort of don't have to worry about getting the main cover when I've already got it with this variant. So first things first, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside of the story? Sure enough it does, to which we do have Damian Wayne participating and also helping out Wonder Woman in this particular story, to which I give it an 8 out of 10. No, take note, I am only giving this main variant cover the 8 out of 10, not the regular. So now it's time to move in the area of the internal the internal art of the story, as we have a look around the beginning and the end. Beginning, middle, and end, and there is a second story. But if it's one thing I want to point out about the second story, it almost feels like the first story gels with the second story, the way it's been written. So as the story begins, we catch up with Damian Wayne, to which we get to see Wonder Woman reunited with Steve Trevor. And it's really nice to see them having a bit of a pash session, because I think they're a really good couple, and I think Tom King knows that too. As we move towards the middle of the story, we have the heroes taking on some of the villains that are making an appearance in this story, along with Wonder Woman herself, along with the help of Damian Wayne and also Steve Trevor, working on freeing up some of those who are kept on Gamora Island. And last but not least, towards the end of the first story, but also moving into the second story. And if I were to say one thing, I heard that, what I've heard of previous reviews is that in this particular story, we're meant to be being told the origin of Trinity, and in this backstory we have Damian Wayne giving a bit of an origin around Trinity's I guess birth but because of what's happened in sort of like this last, or the main part of the issue, Wonder Woman, it feels to me like Wonder Woman has told Damian to withhold some details so she can tell Trinity personally herself. So just moving into the backstory, to which we get to see some of the things take place as he's sharing about that, and it looks like these events actually are meant to be coinciding with some of the events that are happening in Absolute Power. So basically what we see before to where we are now. Of course, there are things that he remembers, such as the kiss. And then last but not least, we go towards the end. So for the area of the internal art, I give it a 7.5 out of 10, as I did quite like some of the artwork, including some of the art which they did with Damian. Next is the area of the story, story 1 and story 2. First things first, did we get any comic book references to any of the previous issues? Or anything that might be important in this story? No, though it probably wouldn't have hurt to have included, say, maybe the absolute power reference, maybe to issues 3 and 4. I think that would have worked really well with this story. Next is the area of time. We don't get any indication of time. The location to which this takes place is on Gamora Island for the main part of the story. The key cast of characters are Wonder Woman, Steve Trevor, Damian Wayne Robin. Of course, we get to see Detective Chimp. We get to see Kid Flash, Impulse, Jay Garrick, Hawkgirl, Black Adam, and of course Connor Kent and a couple of other heroes along the way. For the overall story rating for both the first and the second story, if I were to say one thing, they might as well have just been one meshed up story together, because that's how this story comes across. And that there was sort of like no need for the backstory, but you could have used this first story to just go directly into the backstory, and you could have just pointed out, okay, part 1 was this from between here and here, part 2 was this from here to here. So for story 1 and story 2, I give it a 7 out of 10. Until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.